Hello there, this is Gregory Bear from Canada's Movie and TV Hosers. It's just myself and Fluffy Kitty coming to you today. It is currently Holiday Monday here in Canada. It's Canadian Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. I haven't been doing episodes lately because I've just been so busy with work, and also I've been getting this new microphone and trying to set it up. I was waiting for it in the mail. Now, this weekend, we've been getting a lot of stuff lately. I mean, Ahsoka just finished up on Monday. What else do we got? The Continental finished up on Friday. There's a lot of things going on. And we just got Loki Episode 1 for Season 2, which I have watched. And I went back and rewatched the first season of Loki afterwards because it's only 6 episodes. Although it's still like more than 5 hours worth of television to watch. So, ever since, I want to talk a little bit about where the MCU is right now. Just do a short segment on that. Because ever since the end of Avengers Endgame that we got in 2019, the Marvel Cinematic Universe hasn't really been firing on all cylinders, let's say. It hasn't been that great. We've got some great stuff, and we've got a lot of mediocre, middling stuff, and we've got some really bad stuff, aka Secret Invasion, in my opinion. If you disagree, that's cool. Go ahead, leave a comment down below. So since Endgame, which came out in April of 2019, man, that was a big event, and that's why it's the second biggest movie of all time now, box office-wise. I've been trying to find a list that just shows the release order of all the MCU titles, the movies and the Disney Plus television series, and the specials. But there really isn't a list. Every time I look up MCU release order, all I get is a chronological list of things going back, starting with Captain America, the First Avenger, and then just it's giving it basically in terms of the timeline, which I don't believe that's a good way of watching. You want to watch them in the release order. That's what I recommend. Since Endgame, April 2019, after that, in July of 2019, we got Spider-Man Far From Home, which is, that was a great movie. It was the second of the Spider-Man movies that are in the MCU. That movie is mostly just an epilogue for me for Avengers Endgame because it's dealing with, this is all spoilers, by the way, so if you're watching this and you don't want to be spoiled, what are you doing? So spoilers, is dealing with the aftermath of Endgame because Tony Stark died, Iron Man. And some other people in Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame. So Spider-Man Far From Home comes out in July, same year. It's just an epilogue. It's dealing with the aftermath. No problem. And it was a great, fun Spider-Man adventure. But there's nothing really in that. And I don't think that's technically considered the Multiverse Saga. But what do I know? After that, unfortunately, we got the pandemic hit. Here in our part of North America, it hit in March of 2020. So we didn't get another Marvel title until we got WandaVision that started airing in July of 2021. And that was a 9-episode. So that one shows there's this alternate, it's not an alternate reality, but Wanda Maximoff is there in this town. I can't remember what the name of it is. East Point? Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below. And so she set up her reality that she wants it to be. The point of that is it kind of like dips our toe into the multiverse because her kids are in it. And then at the end, she's reading the Darkhold and she can hear the kids. So the kids are off in another dimension because it's the multiverse. Or is the multiverse in this just variant timelines? I'm not quite sure. Anyway, WandaVision. Great show, worked really well as a series, have no complaints about it. Generally, some people think that's their best Marvel Disney Plus show, sure. After that, started airing in March, right after WandaVision wrapped up. Then in March of 2021, we got Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was a good series. I think this would have worked better as a live action movie. You could have condensed it down, had some better fighting in it, some better knife fighting for Bucky Barnes with Sebastian Stan. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I enjoyed this one, but that one is, I wouldn't say it's unnecessary, but it's more dealing with the fallout of Endgame, because it's who's going to get the shield now that Steve Rogers isn't around. Is it going to be Sam or Bucky, which was kind of already answered at the end of Endgame, but they did this anyway, and it worked out. After that, what did we get next? Okay, then we still didn't get a movie. Then in June of 2021, we got Loki Season 1, which I have recently rewatched. And that deals with all the time variants, and at the end of it, once again, spoilers, they disrupt the sacred timeline. So now, everything that before, there was only one timeline. But now, because of what Loki and his variant Sylvie did, Lady Loki, now there's infinite number of timelines. So in a sense, it's almost as if Marvel's, or the MCU's version of the multiverse is variant timelines and not necessarily different dimensions. So is that how they're trying to differentiate from DC? I don't know. What do we get after that? Then in July of 2021, we got Black Widow. Not the best of the Marvel movies. I had fun with it. Nothing about multiverse or variants in this one. I think the point of this movie was just, hey, this character's dead now, but we're going to do a little prequel. She had another adventure. Bring back an old character. Everyone's going to have fun. And we're going to introduce a whole bunch of new characters in that, because you're introducing Rachel Weisz's character, Taskmaster, David Harbour as Red Guardian, who was amazing, and I'm looking forward to seeing him come back in the upcoming Thunderbolts movie. But then, most importantly, we're getting Black Widow 2.0 as Florence Pugh's character, Yelena? Don't quote me on that. Haven't seen it for a while. So that came out in July. After that, what did we get? In August of 2021, we got the What If series. This is just a bunch of fun, what if alternate versions of events. Also kind of more. So that could be, tied into the Multiverse saga, I guess. I don't know. After that, we got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings in September 2021, which, this is an amazing movie. I probably saw it like 3 times in the theaters. You don't have to see anything before seeing it. It's just a really fun, good movie. It does have this dark creature dragon that's trapped. Is it trapped in another dimension or another? I'm not quite sure. Maybe that's also kind of just dipping their toe into the multiverse as well. Maybe. After that, not long after that, we got Eternals in November 2021. I don't think that had much to do with alternate realities, unless that was in a separate timeline, because no one else has really mentioned, the Celestials or Airsham the Judge appearing over the Earth there. It's like, as if it didn't happen, because no one's ever mentioned it since at the end of that movie. Sure. Then we got... So I guess that was just to introduce us to the Eternals and tell us more about the Celestials. I don't know. Then we got Hawkeye, November 2021. Not the greatest series. There was some good bits in it. Once again, that's just more to give us new characters. We're getting Haley Steinfeld's Hawkeye. We're getting Echo. We're reintroducing Vincent D'Onofrio as the new Kingpin in the MCU, and we've also established Charlie Cox is returning as Daredevil, but the MCU version of Daredevil, not the Netflix one, because those are not in canon. They're too violent for the MCU. They're not going to go that route. Well, when again, I don't know anything. Maybe they will, but I highly doubt it. Anyway, Hawkeye, not the best. Right after that, we got in December 2021, this is what got everyone to go back to the movies, was Spider-Man No Way Home, which is definitely a a multiverse movie. So Spider-Man and Doctor Strange end up kind of cracking the barriers within their universe and starts letting other versions of characters from other universes, or is it timelines? Mostly it's just because Peter Parker wouldn't be quiet while Doctor Strange was casting a spell. So we getting some multiverse stuff right there. After that, March 2022, we got Moon Knight. I don't know if that's really multiverse stuff either. This seems to be just more introducing all these characters, but at the same time, they had all these crazy Egyptian gods, and there's like the Egyptian underworld or the afterlife, and they had these giant gods. One of them was this giant female alligator god, like bigger than and they're having her and Khonshu are fighting it out in front of the pyramids of Giza, and I'm sitting there, wow, this is crazy wackiness. All right. After that, in March, we got in May of 2022, we got Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So this is really a direct sequel from Spider-Man No Way Home. And he's got to deal with all this multiverse stuff. And we're finding out that Wong's now the Sorcerer Supreme, introducing America Chavez, and see these other dimensions. Though it's really unclear. Are they dealing with dimensions or is it timelines? I don't know. What else we got there? Okay. So, yeah, definitely multiverse stuff there, but it just shows with that, especially because you get different versions of Doctor Strange. So if you kill one of them, you can just get another one, which means there's no stakes. So who cares? What happened after May? Then in June of 2022, we got Ms. Marvel. This is just introducing the character. However, if you go back to Shang-Chi, the 10 rings, at the end of that, the end credits scene, they're looking at the 10 rings, and there's some special writing or something, but also it's sending out a signal. What's it sending as a signal to? We don't know. The Celestials, Galactus, Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, something else, who knows? So they're setting up puzzle boxes, which there's not a lot of cohesion. Like, there's not a lot holding the MCU together right now. It's just all random stuff and introducing all these random characters all the time. And so it's been really directionless, which a lot of people don't like. Because before, with the Infinity Saga, we knew it's like they're setting up characters, but they're introducing the Infinity Stones, and we know it's going to lead up to the Infinity Gauntlet and Thanos, and we see Thanos a few times. This one, the clues seem to be a lot more subtle. After Ms. Marvel, which was fun, we got Thor: Love and Thunder, July of 2022. Once again, bringing in new characters. But at the same time, why are they bringing back Natalie Portman to play Jane Foster and introduce the mighty Thor just to kill her off at the end and then she's in Valhalla? That seemed kind of a waste to me. Don't introduce a character that this took years to develop into the comics, and it went on for a long time and still going on, and then they bring in this character and just kill her off at the end. Why would you do that? I mean, I personally really enjoyed Natalie Portman as the mighty Thor. She was great, and I'd love to see her come back. And I'd be fine if Chris Hemsworth put down the mantle of Thor and she just became the mighty Thor. Great. Oh well. Okay, that was in July of 2022. Then in August 2022, we got She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Not really multiverse stuff here. This is just introducing new characters and setting up. Hulk's got a weird son now, which is from the comics, from the Planet Hulk. Anyway, we'll see where they go with that. She-Hulk, I had some fun with it, but didn't end the greatest. It was great to see Tim Roth back, though, as Abomination. After that, we got, in November 2022, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, introducing more characters, also trying to introduce mutants, because Namor is a mutant, but also Ms. Marvel is a mutant, Kamala Khan. Sure. Now, they tried to set up Kang the Conqueror, as the big bad at the end of Loki Season 1. I'm going to talk more about this in a bit, but it didn't really, we watched it and we're like, okay, sure. But then we got Kang the Conqueror and Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, which was a very disappointing film. And if you're setting up Kang as your next big bad that they have to take out in the already released, sorry, not released, but the already announced Avengers Kang Dynasty that's coming, you want to make him be a big bad and not just some guy that Paul Rudd punches and into some portal or something. And I mean, what are you doing? Okay, that was in February. Then we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in May. Did we get another show before that? No. Okay. So in May, we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 wrapping up that storyline. And that was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I got my 4K copy. Check it out if you haven't seen Guardians Volume 3. It's a really fun time. I mean, it's also kind of depressing because it deals with some heavy topics. But overall, great movie. After that, we got the worst thing ever, which was Secret Invasion that started in June of 2023. There's no point to this. Nick Fury comes down from space, and at the end of it, he goes back up to space with his Skrull wife, because he knew she was a Skrull, and who cares? And Rhodey was a Skrull, and now he's not, because they found him alive in Russia in an old abandoned nuclear facility. Because, of course, he'd be alive being exposed to all that radiation. Why would the Skrulls keep him alive? Anyway, Secret Invasion is garbage. They should just completely dump that and just forget all the marketing and just forget it ever happened. In fact, just say it didn't happen. Just like Lucasfilm does with the Star Wars Holiday Special. Didn't happen. We don't talk about it. It was god-awful. After that, well, we haven't got another movie yet because The Marvels coming out in November 10th of this year was supposed to come out in July, I think it was, but then they moved it. But they're set to November 10th, 2023. And now we're getting Loki Season 2. It just started. We just got the first episode on Friday. So, after watching this, I'm looking at... Oops. I watched the first season again. Because there's a lot that goes on in the show, and there's a lot of inside baseball stuff, and people have been complaining about, like on other shows and podcasts and people I talk to, that the MCU it just isn't that good anymore, and it's very directionless. If you go back to season 1, the first episode, when you first meet Ms. Minutes, Loki has to go through this empty lineup in order to give his ticket, and he's watching this cartoon from the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, and really, this explains everything. That's what I think at this time, is that there was timelines fighting with each other, and a multiversal war. So then it says that the timekeepers, which we learned were fake, created. What did they do? They I guess they just weeded out the other ones and they created the sacred timeline. So there's no more branching timelines. There's no multiverse. There's nothing. And that's why for all of the Infinity Saga, we didn't have that problem at all. Okay? There was no variant version of Thor or a variant version of Loki or anything like that until the variant appeared from the Loki in Avengers Endgame. See, it's getting a lot. There's almost like there's a lot of homework to this. So the Timekeepers created the sacred timeline and then created the TVA. But we learned that it was Kang that did this. So Kang, who's the big bad now, but not really because it doesn't feel like it, he was in charge of everything. He had the TVA working so that there's no more variants, there's no more branching timelines, there's just the one timeline. And anything that variant off, they just got rid of it, they pruned it and sent it to the end of time where then it was probably killed. Which means now that Sylvie and Loki killed off that version of Kang at the end of season 1, and he's like, I'll see you soon, because now all these different versions of Kangs are coming. So that's why we got the one in Quantumania, and we're going to see more. In this season of Loki, we also did see a whole bunch at the end of Quantumania, an end credit scene, which wasn't really that great. So what's going to happen here, I'm predicting, is that so all these Kangs are coming, which they said. So now the Avengers and all these new characters they're introducing are going to have to deal with this, and that's going to lead up to the announced Avengers Kang Dynasty, but they're not doing a very good job setting that up at this time. We'll see what happens with the new season of Loki. And so they're going to have to defeat all these different Kangs. And then they're going to and there's going to be a multiversal war, which is the already announced Avengers Secret Wars. And probably what's going to happen is they're going to have to reset it so that it just goes back to how it was before, with the sacred timeline, the TVA's taking care of it, Kang's there looking after it, unless Loki and Sylvie take over from them or someone else. And then it's just going to be one sacred timeline again, and everything just goes back to the way it was, because you're not going to keep this multiverse crap going on because there's no stakes. I mean, if you're bringing in different versions of Iron Man or Mr. Fantastic or Captain America, which we've already seen some of these things, and Professor X, I mean, it just gets too much. And it just means that there's no stakes. So they have to reset it somehow. So I'm guessing they'll either reset it to how it was before, and it'll just be Kang still there, and just be right back where we started from before all this happened, or they'll have to make it in some way that there are these different variant timelines, this multiverse, except you can't cross over. Like, there's no crossing in between these different timelines. You can't jump from one to the other, and they'll have to, do some weird comic book science to make it so that doesn't happen. Then the TVA just polices these dimensions so no one crosses over. Maybe. But it seems to me that that's really the direction of this multiverse saga with the MCU, which isn't that great, and I'm guessing they're using this as an excuse to do their version of Secret Wars, which there's a couple versions of that in the comics. Maybe not. Anyway, that was just my thoughts now after I've rewatched Loki Season 1 and saw the first episode of Season 2. Let me know your thoughts are down in the comments below. Fluffy Kitty would always like it if people would leave a thumbs up there. Try and keep doing some more segments, but probably not long episodes, just individual small segments, and probably some shorts for reactions after I see a movie at the theaters. Anyway, feel free to leave us a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Take care.